guys, I am so excited to bring our first guest. He is also an alum from the prestigious Late Night Writers Workshop program. A friend of mine, now a friend of yours. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jason Marcus. Jason, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm great, man. How are you? Everything is the best.
Everything is the best.
Oh, the greatest. Yeah.
Couldn't be better. Like this is the
Okay, things could be a little bit better. I mean, it's cold. The Celtics suck. We got rid of Rondo. I mean, my life, I guess I am slowly spiraling around in the drain.
Tell us a little bit about you. What do we need to know about Jason Marcus? Who is the man behind Jason Marcus?
Oh, the man. Well, I'm from Boston. I have a pretty normal, I don't know, I same friends my entire life, pretty much. I was a stand-up for forever, and I just been really doing more writing for the last couple of years, transitioning out of stand-up. And that's just about it, man.
You refer to yourself as the champagne of men.
Yes.
Okay. Where did that come from?
Well, I always I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I always thought like if I was going to be a wrestler, I'd want to be a bad guy, and you got to have a great nickname to be a good heel, a real strong bad guy. So I would be the champagne of man, as if like champagne of men, like I'm just I'm the best. And but also I'd be the worst. That would be my gimmick.
Oh, so you wouldn't be good in the ring?
Oh, I'd be better on the mic because I talk a lot of shit and be really rude, a lot of eye pokes, low blows, things like that. But as far as wrestling ability, wouldn't really have a lot of that.
Now this is interesting. I like the fact that you refer to yourself as the champagne of men on all of your social media. When you do refer to yourself like this amongst your friends, do you find yourself playing the bad guy role?
All the time. I love it just naturally as a human being. Everything I watch, I have always loved every bad guy. You know, like when I was watching, watching Happy Gilmore, I love Shooter McGavin. I want the movie to be about him. He's great. I love every heel. I love Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you know what? This is something that's important to know about me. I'm a very crazy person, and by that I mean I hold grudges unnecessarily. And I love things too much, and I hate things too much. My entire life, I've hated Shawn Michaels because I'm a Bret Hart guy. These are two wrestlers. People aren't going to know what the hell I'm talking about.
We're going to do a diagram on the side that's going to bring people up to speed for all you laymen who don't know pro wrestling acumen, which, by the way, screw you if you don't. Two of the best of all time. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. I myself am a Bret Hart fan.
Goddamn right. See, I always loved Bret Hart because he's like this, classic good guy, do the right thing, all that stuff. And I found out recently, and I've hated Shawn Michaels because I'm a Bret Hart guy. You can only be one or the other. And I found out recently that I'm completely like Shawn Michaels and not at all like Bret Hart. And fine. Yeah. Because all of a sudden, someone's like, "Oh, actually, you're actually, you think you're the best." Like, I've never thought that. I didn't know that. Because the guy sings his own theme song, and that's the kind of guy I am. Turns out.
Who brought this to your attention?
One of my best friends, and a guy who was like he's like a writing partner on a lot of different projects. This guy, comedian Sean Wilkinson, super funny dude, and we were just watching. He did something like I really appreciate it when people do bits to me, play pranks on me, more or less. Like I got a buddy back home in Boston who he'll work an overnight shift, call me at 4 a.m, and I'll answer thinking something's wrong, and he's just like, "Hey, now you're awake too, asshole," and hang up. That's it. And I think that's so funny. It just woke me up. I thought he was dead. So my buddy Wilkinson, Sean, he will watch the network, watch wrestling, this long pay-per-view. And he'll set one up so that it's one that Shawn Michaels beats Bret at the end, a Royal Rumble where Shawn wins and Bret loses or whatever. And it's just, so I'll watch the whole thing and be sad. That's the point. Yeah, and it's really funny because I really do. At that point, I hated it. And if Shawn won and Bret lost, I really ruined my day.
Okay, we're going to talk about a few things. One of which, knowing the outcomes are predetermined. You do know this, yes?
Yes, but yet,
even though those are predetermined, you will still have a bad day.
Yeah, and I saw those live when they happened, and I remember them. Like the Royal Rumble starts and Sean's number 2, and I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be bad for me because he's going to win." But I love a good Royal Rumble, so let's do it. And then as it's getting closer and closer, I'm like, "Nah, come on, Bulldog!" And then you remember what I'm talking about, right?
I absolutely know what you're talking about, and very nerdishly do. I think it explains why we were dateless during those years. Let's transition though to talking a little bit more about your writing. I mean, we could talk about pro wrestling all day, and we will.
It's a little inside baseball, I think, for
I
most
think
people.
so. But it's really interesting. So you applied for the Late Night Writers Workshop. What was the thing that made you want to apply for it?
Well, I've always wanted to write late night. I think most comedy writers, SNL is the dream, or the Tonight Show. What a cool thing. And when I found out that there was a program that kind of put you in position, like to just meet with people and learn the way that they do it and meet, I don't know, the whole thing was really, it seemed like the way to get your foot in the door.
So what did you have to do in order to apply? Like, what was the process for you?
I think that when I did it, it was 2 pages of monologue jokes, a page of desk pieces, and 2 sketches, 1 topical, 1 refillable character sketch.
You apply for the program, you get like told that you're in contention. What's going through your head?
That they had the wrong guy. It took a long time, like because I heard I would find out about the interview, and then I think it took like a month before I actually went in, and then when I had the interview, I met with Karen Horn, who's awesome, totally nice, and she's a straight shooter too. So she doesn't like you. It's pretty clear. And but I just think everybody hates me all the time. That's just my brain setting is everybody I talk to hates me. They know I'm a fraud and I'm not good.
It's the true heel mentality.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I feel that most heels in pro wrestling feel that the world hates them, so they hate them back or first.
Maybe, yeah. I hope that's true because
I'm gonna go and count this as a session, and I'm gonna go and send you your invoice for $300.
Fair.
But continue.
You're pretty cheap, actually. $300. That's great. So I met with Karen and sweating. I'm sweating the whole time.
Yeah.
For some reason, like I said before, I'm really crazy, man. On the way into her office, I'm going up the elevator rather, and it occurs to me that I should put my jacket in my backpack because I don't want her to think I'm not comfortable in the. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So I cram my back. Yeah, and it's freezing out. Like it's the wintertime. So I take my jacket off and I cram it into my backpack because I'm afraid that if she sees my jacket, then she's gonna think that I'm not comfortable. So I'm trying to play it real cool, but I just look like an asshole who didn't bring a jacket.
Sure.
So when I finally get in her office, she's sweet as hell. Yeah, I'm a fucking lunatic. So I get in her office and she's like, "Where's your jacket?" The first thing she asked me, and then I said, "It's in my backpack. It's my backpack." Like that's because why not? And she's really cool. We're talking sports. So she's a big football fan, and so we're just talking stuff. And
now I have to ask this. This is some inside information. She's a Yankees fan.
Oh yeah.
How does that work with you, being the Boston guy?
She brought that up a few times. That. Yeah. Well, Boston fans, we get a bad reputation. It's not. I mean, it's true though. We're like the worst. We're the worst, most aggressive. Yeah. No, I'm not even. I'm not a Red Sox fan. I'm only a Celtics fan because I've seen some Red Sox fans do some terrible shit, man. Boston fans turn me off from Boston sports, but I bleed green and I can't do anything about it.
All right, that's interesting. So Karen, you think this was probably going awkwardly?
Oh yeah,
but it's going great apparently because you're getting in. And maybe you don't know this yet.
I had no idea. And I was sweating. And I think she asked me like 2 or 3 times, like, "Are you comfortable? Are you just relax, take it easy?" And, there was an essay question, a ton of essay questions we had to submit also with our packet. So I think somewhere in there, she knew what to expect and could handle me exactly right.
What did you write that would give that away?
I don't know. I think like my Batman origin story, I think is maybe how she knew this guy's going to be sweaty.
Time out right here. What's a Batman origin story?
Well, I mean, when I'm trying to say origin story, I say Batman in front of it because it's one of the ones that starts off sad, and then you get,
So you get into the program, you get called. What's your first reaction? Like
I had people over. It was like at night, or it was like 8 p.m. when the phone call came in, and 8 p.m. New York time, and I didn't believe it at all. And as soon as they hung up, I was still sitting there with the phone next to my dumb head, like, oh shit, now they're gonna find out I'm a fraud. Like, I gotta prove to them that I know how to do this shit. I don't even know if I do. Just laid on the ground for a half hour. Yeah. Everything I've ever put in for that I got, I'm always surprised that I got it. Like how did that happen? You know?
This is honestly one of the best calls you really ever do
Oh,
get.
yeah, yeah.
And it is so much fun to be a part of this program. Before we get to talking about your experience, what did you expect going in?
I guess I expected to at least see 30 Rock because that was what's on the email, and then I expected to I don't know, just kind of learn more techniques as far as writing because my weakness had been monologue jokes at that point, and I just wanted to know a better way to do it. And then when we got our syllabus, like when we got in, I knew we'd be meeting with somebody. You know, right away we had John Reynolds. You know, who was he wrote. Yeah, awesome. Like he's so good, and the stuff that like he taught us. He was there all week, or you know, the whole time, and just a super helpful dude, super smart guy, UCB and everything. You know, and when we eventually, do you want me to go into? Are we at the point where I can tell you who we spoke with and who mentored us at the program? Well, we had John Reinman, the head monologue writer from the Tonight Show, come in, who's like a killer anyway. And just hearing him talk about monologue stuff, it changed everything for me. Like it made it more of a fun game versus this thing that was just this tedious, awful. Ugh, I hated monologue jokes. Like to me, oh yeah, like the way that I looked at them before this program, I thought them more or less kind of like top 40 music, you know, like it's just this thing that comes out and is the shelf life on them is so short that it seems like it's like garbage comedy. But then when after talking to John and talking to, you know, we had a ton of other people who came in who were great, and the way that they explained it, it's more of a game, you know, monologue jokes. I took an improv class recently, and have you taken improv before? I don't know.
Yes, and.
So you know how like, you're in the back line and someone's doing the monologue in improv, you're just trying to think of what sketch idea you can jump out and do. Everybody in that line on the back wall is going to be thinking of the obvious joke. You know, always be thinking like 4 jokes ahead. So whatever the first 3 ideas you have, throw them away. That way, when you jump out, it's your 4th or 5th idea, and it's going to be different than everyone else. You know, it's not the low-hanging fruit; it's the killer joke. At least even if it's not the funniest joke, it's the one no one else thought of. So Absolutely. When you're writing a monologue joke, yeah, it's really fun. So it's actually a game that my roommates and my buddies, we play weekly, just like this fun game. Sit around and like we'll each bring a bunch of headlines and then just have fun. And the joke moves around the room. And whoever picked the most obvious, we all make fun of them because like, you got a tiny brain. Look at this regular civilian brain guy. Puts his pants on one leg at a time. Fuck this guy.
That's a great party game. You know what? That's probably the cheapest game that you could have to entertain yourself. It's got to be like better than Cards Against Humanity.
I hate Cards Against Humanity, man.
Why?
Because I get everybody else I know likes it. I think everyone I know is funnier than that game. The game is funny. I get it. Like it's funny. It's perfect. I think I'm an elitist or something here. But when I say civilian, you know what I mean, right? When I say like that's a great game for
regular human being, yeah, sure.
Yeah, regular folks, it's a great game. But if you're a comedy person, if you're a writer, that's your thing. This game is not. You're funnier than this game. Your friends are funnier than this game.
You are cutting a heel promo on Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, I know. Wow. Controversial. I'll do it. That's right.
So your experience is good. You know, John Reinman, very, very funny dude in his own right.
We had Mike Shoemaker there too.
Mike Shoemaker, for those of you who may not know, is the executive producer of Late Night with Seth Meyers. He was also the executive producer of Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. He stayed on to oversee the show. How was your meeting with him? He
was the coolest. He was. I've been a fan of his forever. You know, I think most comedy writers have just always thought he was the guy, and he's everything you would want him to be. Super nice, super smart, and he had great tips, just killer tips. The whole thing was awesome. I mean, we met with a ton of people. Taya Faber from Hello Ross,
nice.
You know, the guy from Chelsea's Roundtable. We had Amber Ruffin. She's a writer for Seth, and she's killer. She actually came in. They were between a rehearsal, or maybe it was a live shoot. I don't remember, but she came in with like a wig on and full outfit and everything. So she was like on her way out when she got there, and couldn't have been more happy. Like she was just such a nice person. Like it was everything you want.
Did you get the opportunity to go see the Fallon rehearsal, the monologue rehearsal?
Oh yeah, that was great.
Talk to us about that.
That was really interesting because I before I tried to get tickets and couldn't get tickets to the rehearsal. But after when we got in the program, we got good seats, and just to watch Jimmy, put the kibosh on some jokes or just run several different punchlines for the same headline, I think that was a really cool thing because I guess the mystery of how do they narrow down what punchlines to use for each headline? Is it already predetermined? Whatever. And just to see him break it out in front of a live audience, he'll say, here's the headline, and then he'll just rip three different punchlines. It was, I don't know, just to see his editing process live was really great. And the writers were there on the couch. Like the writers sat in for the guests. So while he's going through the jokes, when one didn't work or one worked really well, like he would kind of give a nod to the writers. You could see them sweating on the side. Because these are pros, man. And they live or die by every joke too. It's the coolest.
I told everybody that because they bring you in, so it's the late night writers workshop people, and then it's a whole bunch of tourists that are with you.
Yeah.
So it's a big split between watching the late night writers workshop kids who are watching the writers, and the tourists who are just watching Fallon, and that's it. And they're just like, oh my god. But like, if you're a writer, you're watching these other writers who are sweating it, and you're like, ooh, he did not hit it today.
Oh, totally.
He's got to go back and punch that joke up. I mean, it was such a fun show to watch from both spectrums.
Yeah, that's how you handled it, the same exact way, or?
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, I don't know if you were doing this. They didn't ask us to keep records, but I was there tallying up my notes and was just like, Jimmy, that could have been a little stronger. I'm not gonna lie. You dropped the end beat. Head writer, let's chat after. I've already got them ranked 1 through 10 right here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. It's a blast to see that. It's a really unique thing that, and I tell people this. Not many people do monologue rehearsals to that extent. Conan does one. It's a run through, and he does it kind of like a managing editor, and he doesn't full out perform it. Like Jimmy's full out performing.
Oh yeah, yeah. He comes out, and I think he was like sick at the time too, and just really,
he's always
really
sick. That poor man's being run into the ground. They're sending him everywhere for the past year. He has 2 kids. He is tired, but yet they send him to every corporate function event for NBC, and he's just like, hey guys, sorry, I'm really sick today, but here's your local news. Oh, I'm so tired.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth it, though. I mean, you're the face of The Tonight Show. You're the guy.
Absolutely.
And The Tonight Show, that's the show, man.
No one's going to complain that, he doesn't have it good. I just feel bad whenever I see him, like, at an awards show, or I see him at, like, an NBC corporate event, and I go, he needs a nap. Someone pull him aside and let Jimmy take a nap real quick.
Yeah.
But of course, we love the Jimmy Fallon here. Let me ask you this: so, if you were to encapsulate your entire experience for Late Night Writers Workshop, like how would you describe it to somebody who maybe isn't familiar with the program or has a certain kind of affinity of wanting to try to do it?
I would say, I guess it's the closest you can get to being in the writer's room of your dreams without doing it. You get your foot in the door in all the late night shows, Seth, Jimmy, The Tonight Show rather, SNL, all that stuff, and just you're afforded an opportunity to see what it's like day to day in an atmosphere that you would never get to experience. Like you can take a writer's class at anywhere, a late night writer's class from any guru or any former writer or current writer teaching some course, and then you're just paired up with whatever. It's not the same. This is at 30 Rock. In a writer's room. And it's the coolest shit because you're talking to Mike Shoemaker. You're talking to John Reinman. You're talking to John Reynolds. Like, these guys are the guys.
It was really funny because with our group, we had Seth Meyers and Mike Shoemaker there.
Yeah.
And no offense to Seth Meyers, wonderfully talented, wonderfully charismatic guy. But I'm such a nerd for Shoemaker that I was like, oh my God, it's him. Oh my God. And like, I'm trying to keep it cool. And like, Seth is coming up and shaking all of our hands. And I'm like, Seth, you're great. Oh my God, Mike Shoemaker. What are you doing here?
Marked out super hard.
Hearing their wealth of knowledge where they can tell you what they've seen in packets before and tell you what they've already, like the diatribes and the things that they're tired of is a huge help. For you personally, I know that's great advice. That's wonderful insight. I think you encapsulated it really well. What would you say was the thing that you took away most from the program for you and your writing and your career?
I think the thing I got most out of it, like sketch is my favorite thing to write. I love sketch. Went through UCB and everything. It's just the best. It's my favorite thing to do. But what I got most out of it was I have a lot of. I think most writers doubt themselves. I think you have to. It's like a constant quality control thing. Everything I do, I think is terrible. You know, like I'm like, oh, that sketch sucks. This joke is not funny. None of this is good. But to be in front of these people who see a million jokes a day or a million sketches a day and the best of the best, for them to tell you that they're good, or the fact that you got in, and when we're doing table reads with John Reynolds with my sketches, and I'm watching him laugh at like the different things and tell me that this is a clever idea. It made me really believe in myself in a way that I always needed. You know, it's just that confidence boost. And from that, it's like the advice I give everyone who asks me about sketch now. I say, you know, focus on write. This is going to sound really hacky, but write what you know and write what you love. And I think that in that, it really demonstrates your sensibilities, you know, and then also what you know is different than what anyone else knows. Like there's, I wrote the sketch called Brown versus Board of Education versus Predator. Yeah, I guess it's really silly. I mean, and you get the name of the sketch, you get what the sketch is about. And I went to school for criminal justice, and and it's funny because your wealth of knowledge, whatever information you've gained in your life, if you direct that at a sketch, that's what separates it from everybody else. Anyone can write a political sketch or a topical sketch, but if you infuse what wacky knowledge you have, so I got to actually infuse some law stuff and do one of the greatest cases of all time, and add Predator in there because that's my sensibilities. So this is
can I
like
ask
one of
you
my
one?
sketches. Yeah, yeah. You know what? I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I'll because it's a pretty good court case. You should look it up. It's important.
All right. I really wanted to know.
Yeah.
I wanted a spoiler alert, but I guess I gotta go ahead and read your sketch. Whatever.
Oh yeah, I'll send you the sketch, man. It'll also like I learned you know, the different tricks with sketches. You know, keep it tight. You know, they say 4 to 5. Really think 4 pages. If trim the fat, like when you're doing your monologue jokes or like a tweet. You know, keep it down as tight as possible. Keep it tight. That's like, you know, and rewrite like crazy. If your deadline is a week, and you know you got a week, rewrite it as many times as you can. It'll get smaller and smaller and tighter every single time. You know, that's I don't know. So that's also the title. I learned that it's important for your title to tell what your sketch is about. You know, you look at characters like Drunk Uncle or, you know, the girl I wish I stopped talking to 5 minutes ago, whatever that character's name is. Really get it, you know. So every sketch I've written since that workshop, I've really, all my refillable characters, that's the name of the sketch, and you totally get it, you know. Also, the concept of refillable characters, I think that was something prior to this, I only did by accident, by sheer luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, I have, there's a character. He's called his name is Dr. Cat for a Hand. Yeah, I guess you could figure out what he does based on his name. It's based on when I was a kid. I had a cat, and for some reason I put my cat like in my sleeve, so only her head was sticking out, and I would chase my brother around. And because I was trying to be scary, I was Dr. Cat for a Hand because doctors are terrifying. Plus the cat hand, you know. So I wrote that sketch while I was in there, and it's an idea I've had forever. And yeah, I don't know what the point of the whole story just now was.
I don't either, but I learned a lot about you from it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm nervous that
cat for a hand is so great. Like I love that even back then you were like, this isn't just a cat.
How can I use this cat for evil?
I think this is a great time to transition. You know, a lot of people are doing their packets right now. They're rushing to finish it.
Yeah.
If you would, if they've managed to stay on this long, and you know what, if they haven't managed to stay on this long, then they don't deserve this wealth and plethora of knowledge that we're about to drop on them.
Yeah.
But let me just ask you this in the voice of the person who is probably rushing to finalize their packet right now. But like Jason, like I want to also be like in this like program that you speak of, which sounds cool, but like I just like there's so many things that like I have to do. So like, what do you suggest? Like, do you think that I should maybe like should I like write jokes, but should I like also like not write jokes? Like, is that what they would expect? I don't know. Tell me, what do you think I should do?
The advice I think that the best advice you can give anybody is quit. Don't do it. If you're questioning, like, oh, do I gotta do this? Do I gotta do? Yes, man. And if you're like, I can't get it together, I'm panicking. Don't do it, man. This isn't for you. But if it's like, because on the website or on the Facebook, it tells you what you need to have in this, and that's like, the desk bits, the monologue jokes, the sketches, all that shit. And if you're thinking about not doing any of those things, you shouldn't do any of it. It's just if you're having a hard time, I get it. Monologue jokes are a drag. Desk bits can be tough. Sketches can be daunting, no question. But I would just plow through it, man. Because also know that you're getting like 2.5 weeks or maybe 3 weeks longer than everyone else gets to do this professionally.
Yeah, but like that's like on top of what you're saying there, like that's not fair that like we only get like 2 weeks to go ahead and like refill and like write these
Yeah.
jokes that I feel like are representative of me getting selected. Like I think I should have more time.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? To that, I would say if you feel like you don't have the time, that's probably because you don't have any sketches written. Maybe you don't have you never written a sketch or never written monologue jokes or whatever piece you don't have on hand. I think the answer to that is write them now. Take your time because you're probably gonna. I think it's okay to miss this session. You're not gonna if you don't have any sketches, you don't have any desk bits, you don't have any monologue stuff. Write it. If it takes you a long time, takes you a year, that's fine. Submit next year. Your sketches will be ready. They'll be more the voice you want. They'll be more representative of who you are and your sensibilities. But if you're rushing it and it's not good, and clearly you're just rushing it, your first impression is everything. And if you send in a ton of garbage desk bits and your sketches are clearly you've never taken a class, you've never read a book on how to write sketches, never seen sketch done live, whatever. That's all they know about you. And I think it's better that you wait and get at least 5 or 6 sketches under your belt so when it comes time to submit, you can go through them and maybe they're on the right wavelength with you, because if you just submit garbage because you're like, oh, I heard about this thing, I should do it, wait until you're ready.
Okay, so like you like I think what you were trying to tell me is like I should submit though, like right?
Yeah, you should definitely submit. If anybody like I've had a ton of people, I'm sure you have. Everyone who's done the program before has had a ton of people email them or Facebook them and just, hey, how do I do this? What's this? All that shit. And I'm always happy to help anybody as long as they're not a jerk. I would say 19 out of 20 I've helped. People who've asked me how to do a thing. I've read a ton of packets. I've read a ton of just sketches or monologue jokes, whatever. I'm not much more of an expert than them probably or anybody else, but I'm happy to put a set of eyes on it and give the best notes I can.
It's so great that you're looking at packets. That's really, really cool. And having had the insight of being in the program and your wealth of your own experiences, what are things that you're looking for just for you when you're looking at a packet?
I guess I'm looking for, right off the bat when I'm going through it, I go right to sketches because I think that's my stronger suit. So I want to give the best feedback I can because I think that's where I'm most helpful. And then if I see it and right away sketches aren't in the right format, maybe it's done in Microsoft Word, I still read it. I still go through it. I look for the beats. I look for make sure the heightening is there. I look for you get a twist. What's the game here? And then I always write. Before I give anybody notes, I always send them a warning, like, hey, I only can give feedback one way, and that's the way that I prefer to receive it. I'm very straightforward. I just something's wrong with my brain where I can't tell you in a nice way whatever the deal is, because for myself, I never got better because anybody was nice to me or told me what I did was good. If someone's like, hey, this thing about this thing you're doing sucks, then I'm like, all right, great, I got to fix it. And now I'm looking forward to that. I never take it personally because they're trying to make me better and it's a nice thing. So that's the way I do it too. I'm only going to give it to you as straightforward as possible.
I think the thing I always like to tell people is develop a thick skin and develop a good skin for notes, because if you don't learn how to take notes very well, it's a very difficult career to have. And I find that the people who give the most detailed, or at least the most sometimes in your face notes really mean the most for you. Like they really are looking out for you, and they really want you to excel and succeed. So with all that, that was great insight. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, Jason. We got a couple things to do before we get you on out of here. But first, I don't want to leave without getting you to shout out, where can people find you on the social media and all of that good stuff?
I'm on Twitter at the Jason Marcus. I'm on Instagram at the Champagne of Men. That's it. I was going to try to make something up, but I thought that would be rude and helpful for nobody.
Wow. Yeah, no Foursquare account?
No,
I'm on account that we can reach you at, because I like your reviews and I want to be your friend.
Oh, well, I'll do it. Let's do it. Let's do it together. Let's Foursquare some things up. Is that a thing? Let's force some square, bro. I have no idea.
Foursome Square sounds really. I don't know if I really want to jump on that bandwagon.
It sounds like a pretty sweet euphemism for something.
For something. I don't know what it is, but for something.
I'm just a girl, asking a guy to love me. That's all I'm doing. Are
you Julia Roberts in this moment?
Yeah, every day of my life.
Well, Jason, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk with us today. It was a pleasure to get to know you. And like I said, I love the fact that even though we weren't even in the same Late Night Writers workshop, that we were able to network, connect, and that you're a stand-up guy, and I'm glad that you had a great experience when you went there.
Look, I just remembered one more thing. I'm sorry to do this. I think I've done this twice now. I'm like, you want to be over, and I'm stopping you. Another reason. Sorry, man. I just for people who are thinking about doing the program, do it, because it's the people who run it can connect you to other great NBC programs that are killer. Like there's the Writers on the Verge program. Karen runs that, and Grace is awesome. The scene showcase thing. Do it for that. Get your foot in the door and give that a shot. And it's worth it. Sorry I was a dick, everybody. You're all great. Raph, thanks a lot, man. I had a really good time.
Don't try and win him over at the end, though. Whatever this is.
Well, that's fine. Well, then fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck you. I don't know, man. I'm not. I saved that gem until I'd already ruined myself.
That's fair. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Jason Marcus, pleasure talking with you.
Thank you very much, man. Take care.